Welcome back for another edition of This Old Planter, where we start tearing into the rustiest, dustiest, dirtiest, driest fart of a planter you have ever seen. So, watch the video and wait for the comment section at the end. Okay, it was me. I had to turn this off. It's noisy. I don't need it on. That off. Okay, so that's it. Alright, so all the meters have been rebuilt. We've got new fingers where they're needed. I got all new belts, all new brushes. Backing plates are all now precision planting. Precision planting belts. I think I said that twice already. So these meters are ready to go. I've got them. They're ready to go. I'm happy with the way they look. Everything. These meters were actually gone over by someone. Well, actually, they were done by the precision planting. Actually, went over these meters at some point because there's stickers. See those little stickers there, and they're all over. And I forget what the hell they call it. What's population, whatever, max or some damn thing. But where is that? There was one that was the clearest. It's probably on the inside. Oh, here it is. What do they call it? Meter Max? Yeah, Meter Max. Meter Max by Precision Planting. So these had all been maintained properly, as far as I'm concerned. But you know, when you send these meters away to be worked on, they change the belts, they change what they need to change, any worn parts, and they put them together, and they put them on a machine, run some corn through them to make sure that they're functioning properly. I'm not going to run any corn through them because everything looked really good. Even little springs on the back side, they looked really good. So tomorrow's job is actually some of the corn planter, but the majority of it is going to be here on this. Made the executive decision today that we're going to cut the box off of this. This stainless steel box is coming off, putting new axles on, buying parts there, and we're going to build a new frame. So it'll be 8-inch by half-inch C-channel instead of that tube, and we're going to build it so that it's like new. And Cody's going to be doing some work. I'll be doing some work, but the majority of the work, because the corn planter to me right now is the most important to get it ready to go, because corn planting season is coming pretty quickly and I want this thing done. We're moving right along. I mean, I got all my new parts. Tomorrow we'll pop all these things off, the rest of the depth gauge wheels, and it's gonna be functional, fully functional, ready to rock and roll. And I mean ready to rock and roll. When I say ready to rock and roll, this corn planter should be able to go to the field and plant 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres without any problems, because it'll be pretty much fully rebuilt. And yeah, that's it. We got Tim Poe and Joe Dirt here.
It still won't move.
We're trying to get these depth gauge wheels to move. About half of them are seized up, so apparently the guy that owned this corn planter before did not know what a grease gun looked like. I doubt that he owned one, but if he did, he didn't understand what it was used for. So, and that's the truth. I mean, when you got to torch those things off of there, I mean, look at that. That looks like dry as a popcorn fart, that thing. And, oh yeah, to answer somebody's question, that didn't think I knew what these are. I know these are Martin row cleaners, and I know how these things work. You're only supposed to just lightly touch the top of the ground. They're not supposed to plow or do anything. I know how they work. Yeah. So we are getting to a point where we're getting stuff done. What I need to do is these cast iron stoppers. These are the stoppers for the gauge wheels. They just rest on top of that. Well, the spring has got them pretty worn. I mean, look at that hole. Look at that hole. And it's worn pretty bad. So what do you do with it? I guess I could throw it away and get a new one, right? Or we weld it. And it wouldn't take much to weld it to keep it, because all it's got to do is hold the spring for the down pressure to these closing wheels. And I thought I had more of those closing wheels, and I don't. So I'm gonna need closing wheels. That one's busted. There's another one around here, it's pretty worn out. Here's this one's, I've had worse, you know, as long as the closing wheels close. I mean, you can get tires for the closing wheels, which is fine. I can do that on several of them. But those are the plastic ones, and the plastic ones are the same as the grain drill. So what I think I'm going to do is actually just put a blob of weld on either side of that thing. I've got some nickel, and I'll just weld it with nickel. So there you go. Look, that's what we're going to do. But I want to get everything stripped off of here, and then we're going to start changing out the bushings. Look at this. This is just pure Kentucky ingenuity. That is a square nut, guys. A square nut. So when you put a square nut on there, these angle irons, they're all hogged out, so they have to be replaced. But I'm hoping that those parts that I ordered have gotten to me. They should be. Joe's gonna puke. Yeah, well, what do you mean? That heroin that you're ingesting there isn't too bad?
Chasing the dragon, holy fuck.
Don't. All right, so we got major carnage. I'm pulling off all of the scrapers, mud scrapers. These things are junk. These boys in Kentucky know how to use their equipment to the end of the earth. That's for sure. If you look, it's just unbelievable. The shield for these are all busted off, I think. No, that one's not broke off. Anyways, they're sticking out the back. I got to take all the wheels off, all the openers off, and they're getting replaced. The diameter of them is so small, I just can't imagine how the hell they even planted anything, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I used to replace these things more than... I used to replace them a lot, quite often, just about every year. Not that we had sandy soil or anything, not every year, but for the most part, we change them out pretty damned often. Oh my God. So that's where it's supposed to be. Like that. You can't even see. I mean, it's crazy. And they're all chipped to shit. These things are so thin. They're like razors. Unbelievable. I bought the heavy duty ones. These are a good bit thicker than what the original ones are. So I bought the heavy duty ones. And these are Shoops. They're made in the United States. They're not made anywhere else, not China. I'm having a hard time with John Deere. They're getting a lot of stuff made in Mexico and China. And I'm so scared of coronavirus, I decided that I would get the Shoop ones because they're made in the United States. And China, I don't know. They're blaming it on us, but I'm pretty smart. I don't think so. I don't think so. So anyways, I'm going to pull the rest of these little guys off here. It's a pretty simple job. I got this little 3/8 Milwaukee impact gun. Cody tells me that the stubby M12 one actually has more power than this one. But this thing, I think, has more power than the old DeWalt 1/2 inch. I honestly believe it does. It's just crazy how much is there. So it's pretty simple. You just take your wrench and you stick it down in there. And then you take the little impact gun. I'm going to try and do this one-handed because, well, just because. And let's zip that sucker right off of there. There you go. That's the end of it. So this scraper doesn't look bad, but it's completely shot. There is an angled piece there. It's supposed to be angled, and I'll get a new one and show you how some of this stuff is absolute junk, and it's getting completely replaced. So the next step of things, once I get these scrapers off, is to actually pull all the disc openers off. That's a new disc opener there. Those are new. Those two are new, and you can see those scrapers are new. And you don't see just a little bit of that what do you call it, protector, and that's, I think it's broke off. So what happens with the, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. Let me finish.
Lego lift. Long ball.
The what?
The Lego lift.
Slingshot channel, pretty awesome guy. So anyways, you tell me that?
Huh?
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 right.
What do you got?
We got right and left-handed nuts. And they're all so shot. And boys in Kentucky know how to wear shit out. Whew. I ain't kidding. I do. I'm like, what the bloody... That bearing's out.
Wow.
I didn't even have to take it off. But you still have to. Oh yeah. Well, these actually come off pretty good. I mean, I'm actually gonna lubricate it. And I gotta come up with bushings. I didn't get the right bushings here. Can you believe John Deere does not support this anymore, hardly? You got a special order the parts?
Why?
I guess they feel that everybody should go buy new green paint. And that's my point, really my point. You gonna film me or that?
I am.
Film me, not that.
I am.
Am I talking?
Yes.
For the love of God. Jesus Christ and all of his disciples.
How many disciples do you have?
12.
You sure?
I'm pretty fucking sure.
I think it was 13 at one point.
They kicked you off the team. Right? You were the rejected disciple. Little experience at all. I don't enjoy it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Am I going to hell?
Yeah.
Are you going to hell?
Yes.
Why? Because you're married to me?
Yeah.
Why did you marry me?
I don't know. It makes me want to think why.
I wonder sometimes. Why? Why did she do it? I was using an impact gun, but it's just seems to be easier this way.
So you think with how much you paid for this planner, it's worth it?
Well, it's my point.
There's a point?
There's a point to this.
Okay.
Okay. So I got $3,200 in the corn planter, right? That's what it.
3,200. Okay.
$3,200 in the corn planter. It plants 12 rows.
Mm-hmm.
I have $5,000 in parts.
Okay.
Okay, so what's that got me at? 8,000?
8,000.
8,200 bucks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when this thing is fully done, I'll probably end up with about $9,000 in total into the corn planter. And it'll be perfect. Like, I could go out and literally plant 10,000 acres. Just go plant 10,000 acres. Minor hiccups and bruises and shit like that, just like anybody. So you know what a new corn planter costs?
No.
I mean, this would be like 120,000 bucks.
Get the hell out of here.
No,
That's
I'm not
how much
kidding.
it costs?
There's a neighbor up the road, I won't use his name. He bought I think this is a 16 or 20 row. He had $250,000 into that. Yeah. He grows 4,000 acres of corn, but still, it's a lot of money. A lot of money.
That is a lot of money. Holy cow.
It's a lot of money to put into it. So, yeah, it'll be fine. So, the point is, honestly, when this is all done, you really don't need to have a lot of money into your planner to do the job. That's the point.
As long as you know what you're doing.
Well, hopefully I'm teaching people. You know, there's a perfect saying here. Pay now or pay later. Right?
Pay now.
Pay now.
Okay.
You make a lot of noise. There's one upgrade you're going to do to your corn planter. This is the one. This is the one. This will save you more seed and prevent more skips actually, or shallow planted seed. It's this guy right here. That's the walkers. These are the walking depth stoppers. So I forget what they call them. The technical name for them is. But your depth gauge wheels run up against this. When they're even pressure, they ride like that. If you hit a rock, one will lift up, the other one will go down or whatnot, and keep it into the in the ground instead of lifting her out. So pretty simple. I forget what these cost. I think they're like, I don't know. I might have paid. I think I paid 29 or 30 bucks for these a piece. course, they're all laying there. I got to put them on now. We'll get on to it. Going to end this right here. I've had a fairly productive day today. Found a bent row unit on this one, so we replaced it, put a new row unit in there. This row unit was put in my old corn planter, not the one my 4-row that I currently have, but the older one, and apparently it got cracked right there, so I had Cody come over and he welded that. But we did put all new bushings and all new bushings and bolts there, with the exception of that one. It was in good shape. I'm trying to keep some of the good hardware. So this one here, this row unit is now solid. It should just go straight up and down when we go to work. So that should be really good. And things are going pretty well. We got all the wheels off, and I just got to say that these guys from Kentucky, you got to figure out what grease is, guys. Come on. If you're from Kentucky and you're running corn planter, they have a thing, it's called a grease gun. And I'm not saying all you Kentuckians are like that. Grease gun. And other observation here, don't plant in the mud. It's not good. Don't plant in the mud. So anyway, so we got that one, only one row unit completely done. That row unit there is going to go right here. But I do have a problem right there. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough room. This thing is hogged out. I bought these, but they never showed up. So I guess I'm just going to leave that go. I'm also a little upset with Shoops. I ordered this shaft, and they sent me 2 axles for, I don't know, it looks like a disc harrow. So I got to deal with that. But this one here needs to be replaced. I have the coupler, and I've got this guy here. I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to couple it there and just run a new piece onto it so that it works. This stuff is easy to drill, and I'll just drill holes and put that piece there in. So that'll work. All these row units will be good. I do have a new spring. I don't like this particular spring. For some reason, they're a little bit different, and they should be the same. They're going to have uneven pressure. So that's it for that. We do have a project going on here. I got Cody putting this together. This is the new trailer for the fertilizer spreader, or the new buggy for the fertilizer spreader. That had 6-inch square tubing or box tubing, and I decided to go with the channel iron in 8-inch channel iron, because always having problems with breakage with those buggies. So why not? We're just going to overbuild it at 8 inches. It's going to be heavy, but it's not going to break. So that's what all these bits and pieces are for here. He's cutting, notching, and boxing it in. It's going to be beautiful. So me and him will get that done. I'm working on the corn planter. He went to school to be a welder, so he is doing his job. That's what he wants to do, and that's what he's going to do. So here it is. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this. There's a lot of things that I need to edit through on this project. There's a lot. I'm tired. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so coal working time. Keep up the great videos, Wes. Just wondering which tractor you are going to pull the corn planter with. I don't know. I usually pulled them with the like the 4450, but this is a little bit more of a substantial corn planter, so I think I'm probably going to have to put it on something, maybe the 7810, something like that, maybe. Okay, Brian Walter says, hey, any luck trying to fix that CT332 final drive motor? Well, really, no. I'm going to send the old ones out. I just haven't had time. I'm busy with other, more important projects. North Country says, what options are available to market your corn in your area? Probably more than most people have. We have Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, which is like 2 hours to the west. An hour and a half to 2 hours to the west. And I have hogs, poultry, and cattle, beef, and dairy. So there you go. Jason S. Wes, I assume the fodder is going to pay more per acre than the corn would be. Is that true? Well, let's put it this way. It's not per se. Okay, so when you grow a crop, you grow it for grain, like corn. Most people grow it for grain. So all your input costs go towards that grain. 99% of farmers do this. So if the end result is $3.50 a bushel, which it's looking like that's probably going to be where it is, they're probably going to pay a basis, over basis here on the East Coast just because. So that's that. So all of my input costs are going towards that grain. The fodder is just, to me, pure profit over top. So if in that 250 to 300 acres of corn, suppose I make $140,000 off of this, or I produce $140,000 worth of corn, which is a pie in the sky kind of a number that I'd love to reach, and it is achievable here if we do end up with that $4 a bushel corn. So just realistically go $125,000 worth of grain for a, say, $75,000 worth of input cost on that, which is kind of where you want to be. That will, on input costs, not including equipment and everything else. So there you go. You got that. You have $50,000 to play with. Now, to add the fodder to it, right now I just talked to a guy. He's like, well, we're at $85 a ton. Another farm is $95 a ton. So let's just split the difference at $90 a ton, and I make 3 to 4 tons to the acre because that's my goal. So you're looking at 370, 80, 90, 100, 360, $360 an acre over that. That doesn't pay for the fertilizer, and it doesn't pay for the fertilizer, herbicide, and everything else, but it enhances the what I would get for the grain. Now, I live in a very unique area where that fodder is used for many different purposes. Mushroom mulch is number one. Number two would be bedding. New York is only right up the road. I can be to big dairy farms in New York and Pennsylvania as well. I mean, if I package this stuff up, put it in under a tarp, keep it nice and clean and dry, and I can ship it to Lancaster County on a trailer or truck every week, 4 or 5 times a week until it's gone, and get pretty decent money there, between $85 and $110 a ton there. So I have that unique situation, whereas a lot of guys out in the Midwest, it's fodder. It's fodder. You got to disc it down for organic matter and everything else. So that was actually a really good question. Will it pay more than the grain itself? I don't think so, but yes. It could very well possibly, because I'm not putting any inputs into it to produce it. It's just trash. It's what would be left there. So anyways, on to the next one, if not the last one. Connor Rains, why do you say farmers should plant less? Question mark. I don't quite get the logic behind it. Well, it's pretty simple. It's supply and demand. Okay, so if the supply is high and the demand is low, we get low pricing, which we are facing right now. So plant less of that crop. All of us plant less of that crop. The demand will rise and the supply will be lower, and we get a higher price. It's that simple. Okay, last one I'm going to answer. Ryan Martheller. What do you feel is the right speed for the John Deere 7000 planter? I run 4.2 to 4.3. I think you're right on the money. I have ran 5 miles an hour, and I have run 4 miles an hour. And 4 mile an hour does produce picket row picket fence rows. I mean, they're perfect with those finger pickup meters. They're not air meters or vacuum meters. They are finger pickup meters, and they do work quite well. They're easy to maintain if you know what you're doing, and they do quite well. So I would say 4.2, 4 to 4.5. I know someone else said here, depends on field conditions, generally 4.5 is ideal. If you're in stony ground, you may want to go slower. Don't know. It's all up to you, but I'd say 4, 4.5. I think you're right on the money.